In this video, I'll be showing you how to create your own unique meal plan using our recipe database or any recipes that you have already added into the system. If you go to this add button in the top right-hand corner and you're underneath the meal planning section. So right now on this left-hand panel, I've already selected this meal planning section and I'm under the explore section. Now I'm going to hit add. And from here, you can either create from a blank slate or you can use the automator. In this example, I'm going to choose from a blank slate. So I'm going to title this meal plan Quick and Easy. Description, easy meal prep. Can be anything you want there. And then you can select the number of weeks that you'd like. So let's select a 2-week meal plan. You can also select the number of days. For example, maybe your client doesn't want to do a meal plan on Sunday. So maybe you uncheck Sunday. And then maybe you only want them to have 1 snack a day rather than 2. So you can uncheck snacks and then hit create. So now once you're inside here, you'll see that the columns and the rows that we decided not to include are grayed out. If you would like to delete these altogether so they don't show at all, you can go to these 3 dots here and hit remove. Same thing with Sunday, we're going to hit remove. Now those columns won't appear, it'll clean it up a little bit. Some people like to leave it in just in case the client wants to write anything into those sections when they print out the meal plan. Now from here, you can also change the labels on here. So if I go to breakfast, let's say I want this instead of to say breakfast, I want it to say meal 1, right? In some instances, you might not want the breakfast tag and you may want it to say something else. Maybe instead of snacks, maybe you had this at the end of the day. Maybe you want this to say dessert, right? Instead of snack. So you can go ahead and change the labels however you want here. Same thing with the days of the week. If you wanted this to start on Sunday rather than Monday as we have it set here, you can go ahead and you can change that as well. Now, once you have made any adjustments to the graph, you can head over to this filter button here and start pulling in your recipes. So once I go to this filter button here, I'm going to use the tag of, let's say, dairy-free. We're making a dairy-free meal plan. And I want a prep time of no more than 10 minutes for my breakfast meals. And I'm also going to select the tag of corn-free as well. Maybe my client is allergic to corn. Now, this would be under the include all tags recipe. So you wouldn't want to put it under the tag section because this would be any of those tags rather than all of those tags. We want it to be dairy-free and corn-free. So we're going to put it in this include all tags section. Now, under the nutrition data, maybe I want breakfast to be a certain number of calories. You always want to give it some wiggle room. If you don't give it any wiggle room, the system will have a hard time finding recipes that match the exact amount of calories that you had set. So I'm going to say anywhere from like 400 to 520 calories for breakfast. And I want my clients to have a minimum of 20 grams of protein for breakfast and maybe a minimum of 6 grams of fiber. So once I apply those parameters, I'll get everything that fits in with what I selected here. Now, I also want to put the breakfast tag here as well because we are selecting the breakfast meals right now. There we go. So now all breakfast meals will show up that fit in with those set parameters. Once I find what I like, you simply can just drag and drop it over to that section. So for this, I'm going to say, make sure that it has 1 serving per meal because most likely you're going to want your client to have 1 serving unless for any reason you want them to have 2 if they're having a high number of calories or something along those lines. Now, if you want them to have leftovers the following day, you can toggle on the leftovers. And then you just start to build out like that. So let's say I also like this lemon berry yogurt delight. Maybe for that one, I don't want leftovers since it's super easy to put together, but maybe I want them to have it on another day as well too. Let's keep it really simple so there aren't a ton of ingredients for them to purchase at the grocery store when they go shopping, right? So we're just going to go ahead and drag and drop our meals in here. Now, same thing, of course, with dessert and lunch and dinner, however you set this up. I know we changed this to dessert. Let's change it back so that it makes sense. We're going to change this into lunch and then maybe even delete this column here. And I'm going to go here, uncheck the breakfast, and now I'm going to put lunch in here. So I'll be searching for lunch meals. I'll hit apply, and all of the lunch recipes that comply with our parameters that were set are going to start to populate here. So as you can see, there's many, the system is still populating, and we're going to go ahead and start dragging and dropping. Again, make sure that this says 1 serving per meal. and then toggle on leftovers if you want them to have leftovers, and you continue to build out your recipe pack in that way. So let's see, this one, for example, might come up, this comes up as 2 servings because that's how the recipe was originally created. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 1 serving, and again, toggle on leftovers. So then you just start to build out your meal plan in this way. We will also just add 1 dinner recipe just so you can, or a couple dinner recipes so you can see how it looks. We'll just drag and drop some here just so you can get an idea of, once we complete it, how it's going to look. Okay. Great. So we have some meals in there. Now you get to select a cover image. So if you come over here, you can click on this. You can either upload your own cover image. So if you would hit this blank one here, if you created something, let's say from Canva, and you wanted your own unique design, you could go ahead and select from there, or you can select from any of the images that are already within this bundle. So I'll go ahead and select this image here. And then I'm going to give it a tag. Let's say I made this meal plan for Beth. I'm going to go ahead and add Beth as a tag. Or let's say, this was a dairy-free plan. So maybe I'm going to add the dairy-free tag. Whatever tags you need in there to remind you why you created this meal plan and what this meal plan is all about. Now you can either keep the nutrition data toggled on, or you can toggle off the nutrition data. So this would be if you're working with somebody who you don't want to be focusing on the calories and all of that, you can go ahead and toggle that off if you wish. Now I'm going to keep it toggled on for this section so I can show you what it looks like. If you did select your own cover image, just make sure to click this here. So this button at here, if you created your own, again, if you uploaded like a Canva cover image that you want there, you would check that there and then make sure that you're showing the image as the cover page and not the default cover page, which would be our picture in the background that you've selected and then the text over it here. So that's how you would change that if you wish. And then we hit save, and we're going to head over here. And you'll see that now we can go ahead and share this meal plan. So if you hit this share button, we can share via a link. We'll toggle this on. We'll copy over the link. And then if you want them to be able to download the meal plan, make sure to toggle this on as well. And then when you share it with them, either in an email or in your digital course, wherever you want to post this link, this is what they would see from their end. So your business name, whatever you put in the settings section, your logo and your website will all show up here, the way that you put it in the settings section. And then they'll be able to see all of the meals that they have inside of this recipe bundle. We didn't do week 2, but that would show there if they toggle over to week 2. They also will be able to see the shopping list here, and they can download the shopping list if they like. They can click into any of the meals to see exactly how to make. The directions are all here. If this specific meal they want to make for 4 people, they could change that over this. It won't change the shopping list, but it will just give them an easy way to, if they're creating the meal for more than the people that had originally been selected, they can go ahead and do it that way. And you can also see the nutrition data. If they toggle down here, they can see the nutrition data for each day as well. So that is how you create your own unique meal plan. If you are sharing the meal plan as a PDF, so let's go back here, and if I go to export, now it's going to download as a PDF. Just make sure that if you are sharing this as a PDF, so maybe you're uploading it into a digital course, or maybe you're giving it away as a freebie or something along those lines, you want to make sure that you also give the recipe bundle to go along with it, because this will show up as their meal plan, their shopping list, but the recipe pack is not inside of this meal plan. So if you go here, you just go over to create a recipe bundle. This will create the recipe bundle from that meal plan, and then you again can export that as well and send over both the recipe bundle and the meal plan together. And that is how you create your own unique meal plan.